if I can, with Christian Keys, creator, writer, producer, and the legendary Kim Fields, who is director and a directing producer on the project. Christian, where did this sort of conceit come from, and how did Kim find her way to it?
Well, I always wanted several brilliant female minds behind this and aligned with it, because that's our demographic for the show, and women know how far to push the envelope and where not to, cross that line, and how to get it just right there, and who's gonna do that better than Kim? So I was just excited that she was available, and with her her cinema IQ and being part of the project. And then, once we cast our madam, I started falling in love with the project even more so. And yeah, I'm sorry, it's starting to hit me that we got a great show coming out, and it's as a writer, I'm never speechless, but it's tough to find words right now.
As Christian, you're never speechless, so what?
Amen.
And Kim, what about this spoke to you?
Oh, a number of things. I was familiar with Christian's work. First and foremost, he's the real deal. He goes back, he's a theater baby, so that automatically just, catapulted him, in my opinion. In terms of the project itself, I was familiar with the book, and just, bringing this world to life was really interesting to me, and making sure that it was coming to life from a place of being very organic with the motivation for Madam, for her clients, for the artists that are the dancers, so that it wasn't just, gratuitous nudity just because we're streaming. Everything really had to have absolute grounded intention. And so, so I was very excited to be able to be a part of the project and to help to really lean into that even more so. And also the fact that sexuality, sensuality, when it comes to female-driven projects, the lead is a female, and just this world that we're in. It's so easy, I think, for people to try to dismiss it as, oh, it's like Magic Mike, or oh, it's about a male strip club. No, this is not something that you can dismiss easily like that. And that was really intriguing to me, and to do something different for me as a director and as a producer, to go in spaces that you don't see me coming in. Yeah.
Absolutely. And obviously this entire thing hinges on finding...
No pun intended.
Yeah. I really appreciate what you said. I appreciate what you said about not being gratuitous for the sake of streaming. I think that a lot of people, or a lot of the content we see sometimes, is experimenting with sort of what it's like to release these projects in a vacuum, and some of that can be exciting and some of it can be over the top. But for something like this, I think obviously this hinges on finding the right Madam, or Marilyn, who's the lead. So Miss Eva, how did this come to you, and if you could sort of tell us who she is and how we meet her?
It came to me from the great mind of Christian Keys. I remember after the series of auditioning and them getting down to the last couple of people, and I was in the mix. And then when I finally got casted, I remember, and Christian's heard this story so many times, I was in my favorite place, my bathtub, and I'm rereading the scripts. But for some reason, like, I stopped on the title page. And the title page is usually of no much significance outside of the name of the project, the number draft it is, and the writer. But that's what I stopped at, the writer. And I said, is this my Christian Keys? So I didn't even wait until I got out of the bathtub. I risked literally dying because I hit Christian up in the tub like, Keys, is this you? And Keys responded, is this my Madam? Oh my God. I went crazy. Then I found out that I would be working with the incomparable Kim Fields. Oh my God. I fell out. A project I had before, I played a character named Tara, and Kim was my everything. Like, I channeled any and everything I knew of her from Regine, from Living Single. And so to get to work with her, for her to direct me, for her to pour into this project her years of expertise, and to give me those nuggets that I didn't necessarily deserve, but I snatched them. And I mean, she made me love my voice. There's just so many things she blessed me with. And it's just an honor to play the character of Marilyn Madame DeVille.
Absolutely. And can you tell us just a bit about her? Like, when
Yes.
sort of we meet her at first glance, like what is sort of like the immediate sort of urgency of the show? And she is incredibly formidable. She is a oof, I would not want to meet her in a dark alley, but
No, I don't advise you do so.
Yeah.
You won't remember much.
No.
But Madam is a consummate business professional. She is a very educated woman, but she's more so than anything, she's a woman who knows what she wants. The question is, how do I go about today by getting a step closer? And so she looks at the city of Atlanta and surveys it as her land, as Mufasa on the top of a mountain looking over all that she inhabits. And it's not just about power for her. It is about things being right, and they're only right when they're in my hands. And so if I am properly delegating and properly leading, then the city will be all that it needs to be. And until then, I will work tirelessly to make sure that happens. And I think the most beautiful thing about Marilyn is the fact that she is a woman. She does a man's job, but with a woman's savvy. And that's something, I'm sorry, the most fashionable man cannot do. And just the strength of her, the strength of this woman is something that every single woman can relate to. Being multifaceted, having to be soft and hard, being the protector while needing protection, being confident while being insecure, all of those things, and doing it with a crown on her head that never falls. And to portray this woman and to bring a life and a light to represent so many kind of women is just an honor.
Yeah.
And I'll say this about her too, real quick, because I couldn't describe her better. When Madam is moving in an aggressive space or I'm going to deliver a message space, it's out of a place of she cares. Madam genuinely cares. She has a heart the size of Georgia. So those are the people that you don't cross, because they'll give you the shirt off their back. They'll give you if they're right-handed, they'll give you their left arm, if they care about you and if they love you. But don't cross that person, because as much as they can love, as big as their heart has room for love, they will find a way to destroy you. And as the fictitious character, Madam is like that. She loves and protects her own, but don't cross her. She ain't somebody that you want to cross.
I think if I can add to that too, because you both have painted her so perfectly. She is beautifully flawed. She has such rich complexities, which, of course, some of the greatest and most iconic characters in our industry are beautifully flawed and richly complex. And Madam has that in spades. I love personally how strategic she is, how methodical she is. And one of the things that Eva and I talked about at length was she understands, and no pun intended, she understands that she holds the keys and she can unlock doors that people, especially her clients, they don't even know they have these doors, let alone the locks to open them. And then when Madam opens these doors for them, it's this force, and the doors just fly open for some. For some, the door kind of creaks open until, oh my gosh, I'm in this space, and our atmosphere in terms of the women who were part of the scenes in the club, that extended to them as well. So that again, you know, we're not just in some, you know, chic, high-end strip club and we just on action, women just waving money. No. We have atmosphere who we track through the season and we see their journey, where they start, where they're, because it's all, again, for women, there's a great deal of evolution.
Yes.
When it comes to being, it's a word we use quite a bit now, unapologetic.
Yes.
In terms of our intimacy and our sexuality and really moving to a place of not being insecure about it. And I love that Madam is there at the apex to be able to see people and to see her clients and what they need and when they need it before they know that there's a need.
Wow, well said. I also think that I was thinking about this last night when the last time I probably saw a character like this, who's all those things, and how popular she was. I like Claire Underwood came to mind.
Yes.
Robin Wright and Alison Carr, and it's one of those things where, yeah, it's one of those things where when we have a character like that on television, everyone's like, why don't we have more of these? And then no one writes another one. Kind of like every time a female comedy does well at the box office, like Bridesmaids, it's like, why don't we do this more? And then no one does it. So
Right.
it's amazing to see sort of such like you said, rich complexity. And also the show is not didactic, it's fun. I mean, it's serious and it's dramatic, but it's enjoyable to watch. You know, it's not because even if we go down to sort of the genre level of like, you know, the strip club atmosphere, it's either, like you said, Saturday Night Fever with Magic Mike, or it's something a little more sad and with more pathos, like a P-Valley. So I would love to know from Christian and then anyone else wants to weigh in, like, how do you sort of see these dancers? Kim said use the word artist, which I think is really interesting too. And how does that sort of fit into the world of the show?
I think it fits wonderfully. I think we painted the dancers, the fellows, the guys, we call them, with humanity. Yes, they may dance. Yes, they may be exotic dancers. They do not like to be called strippers. So if you interview them, don't call them stripping. It's male exotic. They want you to put a little respect on it. They fit wonderfully in this world of unapologetic femininity, as Kim was referring to, where we are empowering and we're normalizing women doing what they want to, following urges, expressing themselves. They got to, you know, live inside this box, you know, 9 to 5 or 8 to 6 or whatever the hours they work in, whatever office, a cubicle or whatever. And they need outlets, and we need to normalize, 1, strong female characters, 2, you know, strong showrunners and directors, women of color, you know, to weigh in. It's a culture thing, like Denzel said. So I think all these pieces fit together for a perfect storm. And I think they just feed the show. I think the guys do a great job. 4 out of the 5 actually have done some male exotic dancing. So their performances were better than what I expected in my head. It's wonderful when you write something and your madam and your people show up and they're even more vivid and vibrant than you, when it's better than you hoped it would be or thought it would be. That really feels good. So the guys fit wonderful. The direction and the team fit wonderful. Our Avengers, Michelle, Elon, Deandra, they fit wonderfully. It just, the pieces is the per song.
Yeah. You know, if I could add to that, this project, this show, especially with the men, it's just one of those shows, they don't just show you what they do, but why they do it. So a lot of times you see a show and you see a gangster, you see what they do. It's the why that Kim pulled out of us. It's the why is Madam this way. Not just that she's this way. What does she have to lose? What has she worked for? What is she reaching for? And so with the dancers, as delicious as they are, and let's just put a period behind that because they delicious. It's the why, how they got into this business, what keeps them there, what feeds them, not just them being a fantasy to others, but what they get from it. And to understand the cerebral part of all of these people, I think that's the difference between our show and other shows that might be set in a setting that's like ours, but they didn't have our DP either, so it's going to look different.
Oh yeah, ooh,
Right.
and our DP was crazy. And I'll say this real quick. You have no idea how many people, how many dancers that I interviewed over 11 years that told me over and over, like dozens of them was like, man, I need this. Like, this is how I make my living. Some of them said, you know, I don't know how to do anything else. And so it's tough for them to walk away. So they're still dancing at 38 or 40 years old and literally putting on icy hot and knee braces and stuff. And because that's what's making them, you know, 6 figures a year. They don't know how to do anything else. And they're comfortable with the lifestyle and they need this thing.
Yeah. I think for me, because we really were so dedicated to making sure their world was authentic and truly, truly represented correctly and organically. We had a fantastic consultant. We had, as Christian said, 95% of our artists, the dancers, are actually either full-time or part-time. They've been at this for years and years and years. And one thing that really struck me was a line that one of them says, you know, this saved my life. And like you said, Eva, that cerebral element. I'm all about, you know, understanding why we do what we do. And then from there, kind of reverse engineering to now, how did we get here based on that intention? And so it's wonderful that it isn't just for Madam, that process, but for each one of our characters.
Yeah, I think it's super respectful that the stakes are high for everybody. There's no one's sort of life or intention is small. For Eva, you know, when you have a character like this that is so just juicy and has so much going on, where do you, like, is she inspired by anybody in your life or in culture or in your reading?
She's inspired by a multitude of people. You know, one of the women that I looked at that I felt was just cunning and classy and sweet and hard at the same time is Diane Carroll, one of our greatest icons. She in a dress could sing your praises or cut you tight in the same breath. And so there was something about Diane Carroll that I wanted to bring to the character, which was the presence in a room, the no need for a lot of words, but the words to be meaningful. What is understood need not be stated. And so to try to really find those moments, because it was there in the script, and then where I couldn't find, I just had to look over at Kim, and Kim would tell me something in my ear and we would figure it out. But, you know, it was just really trying to do her justice and do her service, you know, as women, especially Black women that have decided that they are going to be pioneers, that they are going to be leaders, and they are going to do it at the pinnacle, at the top. You know, that is a very, very big bag to carry, but you do it and you do it well. And so for Madam, it was just trying to pull from all of these amazing women, the Michelle Obamas, the Clara Huxtables, and then even your gangster women, you know, looking at Set It Off. When they were about to rob this bank, TT needed this money. She was going to lose her son. It was serious. And understanding that sense of urgency. And as a woman, it is our natural instinct to fix things. And so to put all of that into this bag of an educated woman with the, you know, scoring pass that figured it out for herself and is now trying to help others while she continues to climb, I just felt like Mother Goose with a very nice suit on.
You know, what's interesting, and you've brought it up when you mentioned Claire Underwood. Early on, Eva and I talked about kind of the badasses, you know, in character land. And my approach was, how does Madam not necessarily fit in, but how does she exist in that amazing lexicon of badasses? How does Madam affect those iconic badasses? You know, if they were all in a room, and even I talked about this so much, if all of those types of women and those characters were real and in a room, what makes Claire Underwood go, oh shit, when Madam walks in?
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of where, you know, we wanted to kind of hover overall in that space of, you know, it's her walk, it's her countenance, it's her how she's listening. Like you said, she doesn't use a lot of words, but when she does, and you know, just all those things that go into it. The fact that she's got locks, you know,
Yes.
didn't come up in here with the weave, with the part, and and she, I'm not doing that. This is how I do this.
Yes.
And I loved that.
And we fought for that. So, and I'm glad that we did. We really fought for the natural hair, the representation, a woman lead with natural hair and locks is just, it's a statement. It's intentional. And Eva said something about the set it off just real quick. Madam is all 4 women from Set It Off in one.
Yes.
She's the business savvy, business mind like Frankie's character. She's you know, got the heart like TT. She's a bit of a gangster like Cleo, you know, but she's also a provider like Jada's character, you know, take care of this person, take care of that person, and sometimes may not even leave enough for herself.
Yeah.
You know, she's so worried about covering everybody else. So that's kind of why she moves. But I love the Set It Off reference.
Yes.
I mean, I think you guys just saved the BET marketing department millions of dollars. Just put that on a billboard. Put that on a billboard. Give me a 30-second spot. Take my money. I'm watching the show. I want to get into introducing some of these clips, but just in case we run out of time, Kim, I wouldn't forgive myself if I didn't ask. In this age of, you know, streaming every other day, streaming platforming being announced and IP being rebooted, is Living Single ever coming back for a reunion special and movie? I mean, where I would faint, but I'm just so surprised that, you know, everything is being rebooted, and I can't imagine there's not a huge audience for that. So sorry to put you on the spot, but I had to ask.
No, it's fine. Thank you so much, and we are thrilled how people still love it, how new you know, fans are discovering it as if we're still filming it. And so, you know, we have, as the 6 of us and Yvette, we have certainly discussed it at length. The thread between all of us may as well be the reboot, because our text thread is just delicious. You know, and amen, we're all still here. But more to the amen, thank God we're all still working. We're busy. So, you know, that's part 1 to why we haven't yet. Actually, that's part 2. To me, part 1 is you got to be careful with reboots. You know, you can't just throw it together like, oh, where would these characters be now? These characters mean a lot to a lot of people around the world. And not that Yvette would get it wrong, not that we would get it wrong, but you have to really have the time and the meticulous work of getting it right. And so right now, you know, Yvette's got her new show. I've got the Upshaws. Latifah has Equal. I mean, everybody's busy. You know, everybody is working. John, TC, Kim, Erica. So it's great that people want that, you know, but for what it would take, we would rather everyone still keep enjoying what is, because the show is still so relevant, and the characters.
It is, the dance steps, the intro.
Absolutely. So it's more important for us, for everybody to enjoy what we have, as opposed to trying to be in the kitchen right now to cook up something new.
Amazing. Well, patience is a virtue, so we will all keep on waiting, and hopefully it comes together. Christian, did I cut you off?
I'm a good writer, and there's a good director right here. There's a great director on with us now. So, I mean, just saying.
Exactly. Oh my God. Eva, you could be a new neighbor. Eva, a new neighbor,
I would
perhaps?
love to be Regine's neighbor and share Regine's hair. I could be single white female right next door. I love it. I love it.
And I'm coming over to borrow some sugar.
Yeah. Oh
Well,
my God.
Eva's actually, she does a wonderful special appearance in my new movie that I was telling you about, Matt, that drops later this year. She's so fantastic in it. And our friendship was just, I mean, it was just like, oh, cameras are rolling, because we were just ourselves, you know. And
we
she
had
did
so much fun. Kim is such a professional. She worked tirelessly in front and behind the camera. When she wasn't on screen, she was directing. She looked flawless. Like, it was unreal. Absolutely unreal. So beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank
Incredible.
you.
I didn't direct this piece. I executive produced it, and our director was just gracious when I, you know, had just a little bit more to say.
That's my nephew, I believe, that I am picking up. This is a beginning of a nice journey for him. There's not a lot that pulls at Madam's heart outside of injustice when it comes to people, but this person, my nephew Amp, he's the child I never had. He's my world. And so picking him up, and that day it's a day that we have been waiting for years.
I really love that the movie, as well as the series, as well as the book, starts with that. We see Madame first and foremost in a very familial type of environment, a very maternal type of environment. But don't blink, bitches, because that's gonna change in a heartbeat. But she starts there. But it goes back to what we were saying in terms of, again, the rich complexities and the layers of this character.
Yeah, her whys. Her whys will have her love you if you deserve it. And if you cross somebody that she loves, her whys could get you buried out back.
Amazing.
It's not advisable. I would just say that. It's, you know, some people, I would not advise you cross. I wouldn't cross Madam.
Yeah. And I have to say, it was kind of, again, people don't see me coming in a lot of spaces. And for me to be able to lean into some of these spaces and to be trusted and listened to and heard, you know, you asked at the top of this, how did I get here? You know, some of the great executives at TPS, and especially, Lord, I'm looking at the note to you saying, wrap it up. But Michelle Sneed, who said, we're doing this and we feel like we're missing a voice. Could you look at this? And so leaning into the sexuality, the sensuality, touching into my own Thug Lady K. Thug Lady K is for real. Okay, don't get it twisted, boo-boo. Don't. I'm not. And so for Thug Lady K to be able to say to Madam, yo, all of that was really great. So, you know, it's just wonderful to see these complexities.
You would say, yo, daddy. That's what you would say. You your daddy. And then that means go full gangster.
Listen.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Next up, we have an incredible look at literally all the Queen's men, at these performers at this club. Let's check it out. So this is obviously incredibly next level, and to your point, Kim, about artistry, from costumes to choreography. I mean, I think this is a very elevated world. So tell us about it.
Very much so. You know, the artists who are these dancers, they were so giving in terms of their talent and their world. And so being able to capture that, and you really get to see, you know, how dedicated they are. They don't just show up and, you know, grind to some music. I mean, this, you know, there's choreography, there's a costume designer. There's a lot that goes on to this, because it is art. So it's a production. Every number, what they do as a group versus when they work solo. Then you have the moments where it's like, you know what, I don't want to do a group thing right now. I'm in my solo vibe. So there's a lot, again, even even the complexities of that industry is a character. And we wanted to make sure that that came alive.
And the men,
no, go ahead, ladies first. Go ahead first.
The men were so serious. This was not a game. These men, and I don't know if we've told you yet, but we did this in a bubble. So we lived with each other. We ate, we breathed. When I walked into breakfast as Eva, they addressed me as Madam. Every character went by their character's name. Like midnight was midnight all day long.
Yes. Yes.
And so these men not only were on when the camera was on and it was time to perform, but they existed in this world for months. So it was just so authentic once the camera did hit them.
And Club Eden itself is a character.
Yes.
The art department and set design and they did such a magnificent job. It was nice to walk in there and hear the guys who actually have danced for a living say and pull me aside and say, you got it right, man. Like you got it right. Like this is our world. And matter of fact, our locker room ain't never been this nice. But for us to get it right, I was happy about it because it gives them an environment to thrive in and where they can feel, you know, the authenticity. And they killed it. I mean, they had to eat. They had to eat right. They were rehearsing hours every day, and then show up and have to kill scenes and crush scenes, individual and group choreography. They did a phenomenal job. They didn't just look at it like, oh, well, let me just go BS my way through this. They really took it seriously and started making strides as actors as well. So I'm excited to see where they go as actors and fellow creatives. I'm excited about this.
You know, I know we have to wrap up, guys, but I do have to say our production designer and our art department, they really did a phenomenal job because every set, every location, it really comes alive. But specifically with Eden, we worked very hard on everything from the logo, the colors, the details of that space. Again, everything was incredibly intentional. Why is it called Eden? What is it? Is it the fact that it's forbidden? Is it the fact that it's a paradise? You know, and that it's almost like an oxymoronic vibe of this paradise that has a forbidden element. So you'll see that, and I want to really make sure, because this is our industry, again, the details are so important. The details when you are creating a world, when you are creating these characters that live in these worlds is really important. There's never too much time to take on that. And our team really did a fantastic job. They did.
Absolutely. And then finally, we have Madam taking a phone call that may have some consequences.
Madam is a problem solver. She actually enjoys a little bit of a problem. If everything is really smooth, then I'm very afraid. But I'm ready for an issue and to basically unravel whatever knots and tangles we have. So when you see Madam on a phone call and you see her conferring with whoever it is, from a business partner to the ops, she's ready. And she's just planning her next step. And little do you know, the phone call, I've already been 3 steps ahead of that call anyway. So the phone call is just par for the course. I've already planned this day and tomorrow. So it's just about playing out what we planned last week.
What she said. What she said.
And you know what I love about when she does have a cocktail? It isn't a glass of courage. It's that icing on the cake. It's like when a woman puts on lipstick and then we add that little bit of gloss right there. It's just that little bit of pop, you know, and that's how I feel, because she can take on anybody when it comes to, you know, engaging. She can definitely take on anybody. And that's, again, a part of her strength. It's a part of her strategy. Absolutely. It's a part of her complexity. It's a part of her power, her sexiness, her beauty. And so, you know, when you put that together, like she said, you know, with that strategy of, oh, baby, I'm 5 steps ahead. Yeah, cheers.
I was expecting this call.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You guys, it's just so thoughtful and delicious and amazing. I cannot wait for everyone to see this. And I'm so grateful for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Thank you,
yours.
Matt.
Thank you.
I can't wait for everyone to see it. Have a great one.
You do
Thank
the
you.
same. Thank you.
Thank you.